the report allege any wrongdoing by the president or exonerate him. Joining me now, Trump 2020 board member Madison Gesiotto. Madison, welcome back to New Day.
Good morning. Good to be with you guys.
Okay, so CNN is reporting that the Trump team is upbeat, encouraged by what we know so far, which really is very little. I mean, no further indictments is certainly good news for the president's circle, but without details from the report, is this optimism, this excitement, this we won that we heard from a person close to the president, is it premature?
Well, I think no further indictments is not only good for the president of the United States, but I think it's good for our entire country. For 2 years, many people across the country were very concerned about Russian collusion. They were concerned about, claiming that there may be someone in the White House who is an agent of a foreign government. If that was true, that would be absolutely horrifying for our country. We now know that that's not true. With no further indictments coming, I think it's fair to say that the president is not an agent of the Russian government. There was no Russian collusion, and this is very important, and I think a win for everybody.
Well, the guidance from the Department of Justice that even if they have a crime that they believe they could charge the president with, that the guidance is they would not indict him. So, I mean, the suggestion that the president has been totally cleared, is that not premature, considering that Mueller would not have indicted him anyway?
Well, we'll wait to see what the report says. But like I said, with no further indictments coming, and of course another concern people had was that the White House interfered with this investigation. As we see in the letter from Attorney General Barr, Mueller was able to complete his report with no interference, which I think is also very important to note here.
So I know you want the full Mueller report released. That's right?
Well, I think it would be great to see the report released, of course, without, the things that can't be in there, like grand jury testimony, confidential or classified information. And there's also talks of, detrimental information to people not accused of committing a crime being blocked out of that as well. We'll see what they ultimately do. But, we want to see this report. People on both sides of the aisle said they want to see it. We saw the unanimous vote come out of Congress. And so we'll see what happens over the coming days.
Now, Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi, they want more than just the report. As they released in that joint statement yesterday, they want the underlying documentation and the findings. There are Democrats on the Hill who are seriously talking about subpoenaing Bob Mueller, and that's even before we see these principal conclusions or the report. What do you think about that?
We saw House investigations, Senate investigations, FBI investigations turn up with nothing. I think it's pretty frustrating to see that they want to continue to investigate when they put their faith in Robert Mueller, so they trusted him for, what he ends up releasing with his report, that they would trust, what he has to say. Now it's seeming to seem like, because it's not what they ultimately wanted, they aren't going to trust it anymore. I mean, we'll see what happens, but that's a little bit concerning to me.
How is that any different than what the Republicans did to try to get more information about the Clinton email investigation, requesting from the FBI those handwritten notes, the 302s from the investigations and the interviews as part of that probe? You say that it's frustrating to see Democrats do this, but did Republicans not write the playbook for what we're expecting to see from Democrats over the next few weeks and months?
Well, when I think we look at the Clinton email investigation, people on both sides of the aisle were really frustrated and thought that was mismanaged, it was mishandled, and that it wasn't handled with integrity or the right way. We saw Republicans and Democrats complaining about that. I think the difference here is Democrats put full faith. They said that they believed, like I said before, they believed in Mueller. They think he's doing a great job. And so to change their minds because the result wasn't what they wanted, I think that's the difference here.
You expect, as I'm gathering from our conversation now, that this report will exonerate the president. But if that's true, what then is the explanation for the president for 2 years, or 675 days to be precise, having called the investigators angry Democrats, all of this a witch hunt and a hoax? If it exonerates him, are all of those things still true?
Well, I think I understand the president's feeling that this was a witch hunt. If we see the full report released and there's absolutely no evidence or basis for what they were investigating, I would be frustrated if I was the president and they were doing this to me as well. So I think there are a lot of people across this country that feel that this was a witch hunt. They're going to be happy with the result, but they feel, we wasted so much taxpayer money, tens of millions of dollars, thousands of hours, 675 days spent on an investigation that turned up nothing and maybe was useless in the first place. I think that's what people across this country feel in regards to the witch hunt sentiment.
So you expect that it's useless, that it was a waste of time, but the special prosecutor was put into place only after the president fired James Comey. Did his action not predicate to
I didn't
start
say
this?
that necessarily it was useless or a waste of time, but what I was answering was your question about, the witch hunt sentiment. And I think that's how many people do feel about the investigation. I think it's important, like we said before, we wait till this report comes out. Let's see what the report says. But again, the main takeaway here is that there was no Russian collusion or no indictments coming for that, and that was what people were most concerned about.
All right, still waiting for the report, though. Madison Gesiotto, thanks so much.
Thanks, Victor.